God, I f***ing hate COVID. Hey guys, it's Alyssa and welcome back to my channel. As you can tell by today's title, we're talking about the fact that I have COVID. I know, it's crazy, isn't it? I apologize if I am smiling or laughing in this video. This is obviously not a funny matter and this is a very serious thing that is going on in the world. It's just, that's just me. This is the second time I'm actually filming this. I filmed this yesterday and I left my air purifier on, which is a very loud noise that just I just didn't want that. So here I am for a second time, which is fine because, disclaimer, this video is probably gonna be all over the place. That video is all over the place. My mind's just not here. So yeah, I'm just gonna be talking about what my symptoms were, how I'm feeling, how I was feeling, what I ate, all of that info. So I'm feeling fine, just so everyone knows I'm okay. As you can see, I'm filming a video. Today is actually the last day of my quarantine, so tomorrow I'm a free woman. Let me go to my calendar. So, by the way, sorry if I look like a complete ass. I didn't do anything up because I wanted this to be as realistic as possible, and this is just the reality of it. I haven't showered yet. My bed's not made. Obviously, I do not I'm just a mess, okay? November 20th. So today's November 30th. This is the day before you're probably gonna be seeing this. My first symptom was November 20th, a Friday. I was at work and that morning I just started coughing. Nothing crazy. I didn't feel sick. I felt completely fine. I just was coughing and I chalked it up to the weather because it, was getting colder and I don't know, just the weather drying my throat out or something. So I was fine that morning, and then I went home at around 4 from work, and when I got home is when I started feeling like I had a cold. I started feeling sick. It wasn't just a cough anymore, I actually felt sick. And I ended up trying to take a bath, which was just not a great idea because the heat was just making me die, and I took Dayquil. I still had my taste and smell. I had Qdoba that day for lunch. I made myself some soup that night for dinner, and I went to bed. Woke up the next day, and that Saturday was probably one of the worst days of having COVID. I just felt like a bag of dicks, if I'm gonna be completely honest. I felt like I had the flu. I really, at this point, I did not think I had COVID. I just thought I really had the flu. That was the day that I had a 101.4 fever, so that was fantastic. I was getting all of your flu-like symptoms. Obviously, like I said, I had the cough. Obviously, I was congested. I had a headache. I had body aches. I was getting chills, the fever, everything. I felt horrible. I just felt ass. I was just taking Dayquil and NyQuil, which it did help. It helped me not to literally feel like I'm absolutely dying. And it obviously brought my fever down and stuff, but when the Dayquil wore off, like I said, my fever was 101.4, so yay me. By this point, I don't know if it was Saturday, maybe the next day, that's when my taste and smell, I still don't have it. I cannot taste anything, I cannot smell anything. It sucks. Eating is very weird, which I will get to that after I explain how my symptoms were, but yeah, by that point I did not have a taste or smell. The next few days were equally as shitty. I did not have a fever anymore. Saturday was the only day that I had a fever, maybe Friday night, I don't know. But after Saturday I no longer had a fever, which was really nice. And the next few days were just me kind of feeling like absolute shit. And then by, I think the day before Thanksgiving, I felt a little better, and then it just progressively got better, obviously. The last few days I've had a headache. That was my only symptom, so I wasn't taking the Dayquil or NyQuil anymore. I stopped taking that probably within the last 3 or 4 days, I was able to not take it anymore. I'm on day 10, by the way. And then I just started taking a leave for like a day or two because I had a headache at nighttime, which could be because of all the Netflix I've been watching and like looking at my TV and like phone all the time. But other than that, now I'm pretty symptom free. I'm obviously congested. I don't know if you can tell by the way I'm talking. We got some congestion up here, as well as I'm still kind of coughing. It's not as prominent. It's just like here and there, like as if something was stuck in my throat or something. But yeah, so that was kind of it for my symptoms. It definitely sucked. I wouldn't recommend going to get COVID. I do want to say that this obviously does affect everybody differently. My mom just had COVID in October and all she had was like sinus infection symptoms. She honestly felt completely fine. Meanwhile, I was on my deathbed. So it definitely does affect everybody differently for sure. It was not a fun time. I don't want to do it again. I hate quarantining. I was wearing a mask and gloves throughout my entire house if I had to go anywhere. My mom was basically my servant for the past 10 days, bringing me food and stuff. So on to testing. This was a mess. Like, truthfully, it was a mess. I scheduled a test on Friday for Monday. The Friday that I got my first symptom of coughing. Like I said, I didn't think it was COVID, but you know, nowadays, you know, I just like it was better be safe than sorry. Like I was like, I'll just go get tested, it's fine. So my appointment was for Monday. I tried calling a bunch of places prior to going to this place, but nobody was answering. Like, no, I swear to God, everybody hated me. Like, nobody was answering their phones, like all the urgent cares, or they were booked out. You know, it was before Thanksgiving. Like, it was literally the Friday before Thanksgiving, so like, I'm sure they were crazy with people. So I made an appointment at this urgent care near my house for the Monday, so like a few days later. And I've been there before when my mom had COVID, and the only things that they provide is a rapid blood test, so like an antibodies test, and then a lab send out, like the nose swab, but not the rapid nose swab. So obviously I wanted the rapid nose swab, but I asked on the phone when I booked this appointment, I said, does the blood test a current infection? They said, yes, it does. And I did think it was a little weird because of all of like the research I've researched says that blood test is only for antibodies, and sometimes it takes like up to a few weeks for your body to get the antibodies, like even if you are currently infected with COVID, which is why they recommend the nose swab, right? But I do remember from when I went there the last time that you could either get a negative negative, a negative positive, or a positive positive. So like implying that it was testing for the antibodies as a past infection and testing for something else for your current infection. So I was like, okay, whatever, that's fine. May I mind you, this rapid blood test is $75. Like, obviously I was trying to find somewhere that was free, preferably. But like I said, nobody was answering me. So I go to this appointment, sick as a dog, may I mind you. Like, I feel like ass, remember, like I feel like ass. And I go in and I explain whatever my symptoms, and she asked me when they started, and I told her the Friday, you know, Friday, and she said, as in like 2 days ago Friday, and I was like, well, like 3-4 days, but yes, that Friday. She goes, oh, this is probably not gonna be accurate then. I'm like, okay, that's great. Like, they told me on the phone that it tested a current infection. She goes, well, yeah, it just, you know, not after only a couple of days. Like, did you specify what day your symptoms started? I said, no, they didn't ask. I just said, is this a current infection? They said, yeah. A, they're just not very descriptive there. Like, if I call and just say, hey, do you do a rapid COVID test? They just say, yeah. They don't say that it's the blood antibodies. They don't specify that it's not the nose swab, because usually a rapid COVID test means the rapid nose swab, but they don't specify that. On top of it, telling me that it's a testing for a current infection, and it's not. So I'm just like, okay, well, never mind. Like, thank you, sorry. Like, I'm just gonna go somewhere that does a rapid nose swab then. Like, I'm not gonna waste my money, you know? And she starts to tell me how she's like, no, like that's the same thing. I'm like, what do you mean? And she's like, your viral load. I'm like, okay. And she's like, the nose swab is gonna test the same amount of viral load as this blood test. So like, either way, it's just like implying that the rapid nose swab will be inaccurate as well, because I don't have enough viral load in my body, okay? Which I found to be ridiculous, considering like, bitch, I'm sick. There's viral load in here, like whatever the fuck that means. I'm sick though, okay? Like I'm sure if you guys have ever had the flu or just been like really, really sick, like, you know, like you don't wanna do anything, you don't wanna talk to anybody, you don't wanna have have an argument, you literally are just like, you feel like ass, you know, like you don't want to do anything. So this was the last thing I want to be doing. So honestly, I was just like, okay, and she convinced me, okay, she convinced me. No, it's not her fault. I mean, it is, but it's not. She basically just said, listen, my recommendation, let's do the blood test, we'll see what it says, and we'll also do the send out. The nose send out was free. She said, we'll do both and we'll just, you know, we'll go from there. So I'm like, okay, which obviously looking back, like, stupid, hello, like, whatever. So I do the blood test, it comes back negative. She does the nose swab, and then she's like, you know, hopefully I'll let you know before Thanksgiving, but probably not. Still haven't heard back. Just want to throw that out there. It's been 10 days since I've gotten this nose swab that was supposed to only take 3 to 4 days for results, and I have not received a phone call. But maybe questioning, do you even have COVID? Yes, I do. Just wait. So after leaving this appointment, I'm kind of ticked off. So I'm like, it's fine. I'll just book a rapid nose swab somewhere else. That way I can just know for sure. I can just know now. Dude, my lip, something's going on with my lip, sorry. So I'm calling after this appointment, right? I'm calling, and again, I don't know why no one's urgent cares were answering. Like, they either just were ringing on for eternity or like would literally go to a voicemail, and I was like, okay. And then again, the places that were answering, it was appointment only and they were booked out, and it was just a f***ing headache, okay? And in the back of my mind, there was the place I went to when I first ever got a nose swab test that is free. It just like is very chaotic there and gets really bad reviews, and I just didn't want to deal with that. So I was like, no, I'm not going there. And I ended up just deciding to drive around to a couple of places because it was just, nobody was answering their fucking phones. And so I was going to the places that said online, appointment not required. So I went to an urgent care by me, and I walk in and they're like, no, it's appointment. And I'm like, okay. So I leave because they were booked. And I drive to a different place that my friend said she went to that was $50 for rapid nose swab. So I tried calling, of course they don't answer. So I just show up. You know, it's like later in the day now, and they're like, no, we only do COVID testing from 9 to 1. You can come back tomorrow, walk in only, it's $50. And I'm like, okay. So honestly, I just said, fuck it. I'm gonna go there tomorrow. I'm gonna wake up early. I'm gonna show up at 9 a.m. That way I don't gotta wait, and I'm just gonna get this rapid nose swab and be done with it, and just know I'll pay the $50 because at least it's worth it compared to the $75 for the nothing. So I wake up early the next day, still feel like a bag of dicks, may I add, and I get there at like 9:10, 9:15, and there's like a line wrapped outside the door. It was cold out that day, okay? It was like 35, 37, maybe 40 degrees at best, but it was cold, and I'm sick. Like, and you don't want to be that bitch standing in line with a bunch of people for COVID testing and you're like coughing and stuff. Like, you're just gonna get looked at weird, you know? So I'm like also trying to hold in my cough. I'm waiting in this line. Well, as I walk up to the line, a lady comes out and she says, oh, just to let you guys know, our internet is down. It might be like 30 minutes until it's up and running, so we're like not taking anybody right now. Well, that's great. So I'm waiting in this line outside in the cold Michigan weather, and I'm complaining to my mom because I'm like, I cannot do this. I also didn't even eat that morning. Like, I assumed I would kind of be in and out, so like I was just gonna eat when I got back. Like, I'm sick. Like, who wants to stand outside in the cold when they're sick? Like, not me. Thankfully, my mother calls the Hoover urgent care, the one that was always chaotic and I didn't want to go there, and they were doing appointments now, so aka less chaotic. So she's like, I called, I got you an appointment at like 2 to 3, like they just give you like an hour block time to come in. You can go there. Thank God. I leave said line, I go home. What a waste of a morning. I go home and I puke. Okay, I forgot to mention that as part of my symptoms, but it's because it was part of this story. I puked, just clear liquid because all I had was water that day. And I just kind of thought it was from being up for too long, because this whole time I've had COVID, like when I was actually like sick and not fine, like right now, I could not stand for longer than like 5 minutes without, like, showers were difficult because I would just get super dizzy and lightheaded and just like need to sit down kind of thing. So I don't know if that's why, and it was just because I was up early. I didn't have any Dayquil yet, so like I puked. And then later that day, I also puked at my dinner. So that day was just full of puking. And I felt nauseous for the next couple of days. So that was a symptom of my COVID experience, is puking. But back to my story. After I got home and puked, I called my mom to tell her, like, I'm not going to the appointment. because I was just, again, I was so sick. I didn't want to do anything, you know? And I was like, I'm not going, forget it. I'll wait for my lab results. I don't even care. Like, it's fine, like, whatever. And then I took the Dayquil, I took the nap, and I woke up and it was like 1:30, and I'm like, F it, I'm gonna go do this rapid nose swab. I'm doing it. So I go there, long story short, they swabbed me for COVID and the flu, just because obviously my symptoms were very flu-like. So they did that, and they were like, if we don't call you within an hour, it's negative. But then I left and I assumed they had to call anyways, considering I also got swabbed for the flu, so I was waiting for a call. And about like an hour and a half later, they called. They gave me a little bit of hope. They called and told me that I was positive for COVID and negative for the flu. Could you imagine if it was a double whammy? God, that'd be horrible. So yeah, then from there on, like I said, I still felt sick. I just, day by day, it got better. And now here I am, your joyful Alyssa, ready to not die. So yeah, that was all of my symptoms and how I was feeling. I did nothing. I literally watched Netflix. I rewatched Gilmore Girls. I'm on season 3, episode 13 right now. So yeah, I've basically done nothing. As for eating, God, nothing sounded appetizing because I had no taste, and it was super depressing, honestly, especially Thanksgiving. Like, obviously we did not have anybody over because COVID. But my mom made Thanksgiving dinner for me, her fiance, and my brother. And I could kind of taste the sweet potatoes. Like there was brown sugar and I could kind of taste that. Everything else I couldn't taste, so loved that. But yeah, I basically, for eating, dinner was always random. Pizza, Subway, burger, whatever my mom made for dinner that day. Like, sometimes I didn't eat. Like, it was just, dinner was whatever. Breakfast was basically the same. The first couple of days, I literally just had fruit for breakfast. My mom would just make me get a bowl and put grapes, strawberries, oranges. That was usually the 3 fruits that were in there. I ate a lot of oranges, mainly because I felt like it was good, you know, vitamin C for the health. As well as it was kind of the only thing I could taste, just because it was so citrusy, you know? Like, I couldn't taste it, but I could, you know what I mean? So like, that was nice. And then I started incorporating bread into my breakfast. So then I'd have a bowl of fruit with like a bagel and cream cheese, or like toast with jelly. And that was basically that for like the entire time, except for like the past couple of days. I've had an egg or 2 with that, but I've had fruit every morning, or even for a snack. Like, I've had fruit every single day because it was kind of just the easiest thing that didn't make me nauseous, and I didn't throw up. Now I'm kind of eating regularly. Like, I had chips and dip, not that I can taste it. Again, like, there's no point eating anything I can't taste it. I did have ice cream the other day. It was snickerdoodle ice cream. And when I took my first bite, I got a small hint of snickerdoodle, and then it went away. That is basically it. As far as, I'm sure people are wondering, like, how do you know how you got it? Like, where did you get the COVID? I don't know. I wish I knew, but I have no idea. I can only assume that I got it when I went to this restaurant slash bar. I went there the Tuesday before my first symptom. So like 3 days before my first symptom, because our bars were closing down again. So everybody obviously went out that Tuesday because they were closing at midnight. I went out with a few friends and they're all fine. Everybody I was encountering in the week and 2 prior is fine. At work, everyone's fine that I encountered. So like, I don't know. I have no idea where I got it, how I got it. I did go shopping the day before my symptom. Maybe I got it somehow that way. I really have no idea. I could have gotten it a week prior. Who knows? I have no idea, but it happened some way or another. So yeah, that was all of the symptoms that I experienced, how I'm feeling now, what I ate, all of that kind of information. Like I said, I am doing fine now. Today's my last day of quarantine. Hallelujah. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe if you have not already. Comment down below a video request. I don't know. And stay safe, everybody. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye. Oh, Jesus.